Well, it was the famous baseball player Yogi Berra who says it's tough to make predictions, especially about the future. But it is that time of the year where everybody's asking me what is going to happen with interest rates, what's going to happen with housing prices, and are we headed for a boom or a bust in 2022? So we won't make predictions, but I will share with you 5 trends that I'm watching mature and manifest right now that I want to share with you. And maybe we'll call that a forecast for the 2020 year ahead. The first one that I'm seeing is interest rates. With inflation going higher, we're seeing that push interest rates higher. And so we believe that we will see a increasing amount of interest rate level between now and the summer. And then we'll see between the Federal Reserve removing their stimulus, the Federal Reserve says they're going to be raising short-term interest rates, and inflation. We believe that those things will erode the earning power of many of the companies in the S&P 500. And as that happens, we'll see the stock market correct and money will flow back into the bond market, which is where mortgage-backed securities are sold. So we think for the first half of the year, we're likely to see higher interest rates, which is already starting to happen. And then in the second half of the year, we may see an improvement in interest rates and actually see those rates start to come back down as the economy cools off just a bit. The other trend that I'm looking at is the amount of inventory in 2022 as we start the year is about 27% less than the inventory than we saw to start the year in 2021. So if we look at this going back since 2018 and we look at housing inventory, 19 has lower inventory than 18, 20 has lower inventory than 19, 21 has lower inventory than 20, and we're starting the year almost a third less in housing inventory across the country than we had last year at this time. There's only about 428,000 homes listed for sale across the entire United States, according to Redfin, and that is drastically less than what we would usually see in inventory, which is somewhere between 1 million and 1.5 million homes listed for sale. Now, it is true that this time of the year there's a seasonality impact where there's always less inventory now than there would be in those summer months. But we're still less than the last 4 years in a row that we saw in housing inventory this time of the year. And that's pretty alarming. So that's going to lead to home price appreciation because we have a limited supply. I believe we're going to see decent appreciation, although decelerating, meaning last year we saw, depending on which index you're looking at, between 15 and 19% national appreciation, with some states as high as 30%. I think that's going to decelerate and cool because of the rising interest rates in the first half of the year, but I do believe that we are going to see high single-digit appreciation rates, potentially around 8%. And then there's those states that are experiencing what I call the Great Migration. These are Idaho, Utah, Arizona, Montana. Nevada's doing pretty good. Those states that are seeing lots of people move into their states are going to see higher levels of appreciation. And then some of those areas where people are exiting out of may see lower levels of appreciation, but solid appreciation in 2022. I also forecast that we're going to see the highest number of real estate sales in 2022 that we've seen in the last 16 years, since 2006. And why is that? Well, that's because the millennials are becoming mature. They're becoming the age of first-time home buyers. And so we have this incredible demographic wall of buyers that's coming at us with the millennials. And if you contrast that to what we saw in 2006 in the housing crash, Gen X, which I'm a member of, had a pretty steep demographic fall off. So you had the baby boomers that were giving a birth rate of about 4 million per year. Then you went into Gen X. Gen X went down to about 3.2 million birth rate per year. And now the millennials, followed by Gen Z, both have birth rates closer to about 4 million per year. So strong demand for housing, limited supply is going to be a consistent theme in the year ahead. And last but not least, team, we are going to see about 1/3 of homes sell to cash buyers. Last year, it was about 30%, according to Redfin. This year, I think that trend of accelerating cash buyers is going to continue to increase. Why? Number one, there's very limited inventory, and buyers know if they want to compete, they better offer cash. Number two, we're starting to see investment funds, hedge funds, venture capital funds buy housing, and real estate investors purchase properties to keep as investments and rent them out because they know that inflation pushes rents higher. So if you want to compete in 2022, you strongly consider two things. Number one, try to position yourself as a cash buyer. At Neo Home Loans, we have partnered with a company that will actually buy a property for you in cash and then give you up to 6 months to buy that home from them. You should strongly consider that if you want to be competitive and you really want to get the home that you want. Second thing is make sure that you're fully pre-underwritten. If you're going into this market and you can't close as fast as cash and make an offer without financing contingencies or remove those contingencies with just in a couple of days, you're really at a disadvantage. So go through the full underwriting process. Hey, any other questions, anything else I can do for you to position you and your family to succeed and have an incredible home buying experience, I'm here and I'd love to hear from you.